All right, come on. Yeah.
Well,
All right.
we'll explain why it's Tana's fault.
Oh, it's all Tana's fault. 100%, hands down. Tana.
Well, I texted her so that she could know that we were having technical difficulties and help us. I saw that she was in there, and then she responded and covered up the button we needed to push.
I'm like, why won't this work? Everything I'm seeing says it's got perfect stream health and everything's working. And Tana.
Yay!
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. We did it!
I mean, every day feels like the first time, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. Because I have no idea what you're doing over there. I have not taken 1 second to learn what you're doing over there. And I'm just like, guess we're not going live. But everyone, welcome to the Craft Cast, episode 2.
Sorry for being tardy to the party. But,
yeah, how late are we?
Hopefully it's worth it. Hopefully it's a little smoother from
For
here
those
on.
that don't know, we always make mistakes, so be prepared for that. But I'm Corin Wistman, and that's my husband, Tim.
Hello.
And we're going to have some crafty chat today with the folks that are live on YouTube. How many do we have, like, a count? I see, like, 47.
There's about 60 people here hanging out with us. So there's 60 folks out there in
Hello,
YouTube,
folks.
YouTube
60 folks.
And we've also got Amanda and Micah from Pear Blossom Press hanging out with us on Skype, and they're going to be here with us as long as they'd like to be, or as long as the internet and the Wi-Fi graces us with enough bandwidth to hang on to you guys.
Yeah.
So.
We also have a little bit of a discussion question from Sherry Nansen. So I saw her in the chat. She asked a question last week, and I thought that it might be a good conversation to have later in the broadcast. And what else? Oh, we have some follow-up from last week. Do you remember my brush, my gunky brush? Where's my gunky brush? So there's a little story behind it. I made an order to dickblick.com, okay? And I had ordered some texture paste and a few other things. And then when I got the order, when I came back from vacation, I had a big, huge bottle of brush cleaner in the package. And I wasn't sure if I had actually ordered that or not. Turns out I didn't. They sent it to me by accident, and they didn't send me the texture paste. So in that exchange, they told me to keep the brush cleaner because it's not cost effective to send it back. And I was like, woo, I get to try it out on my brush. Okay, it's just a acrylic, oil, and some other kind of not at all a makeup brush. It doesn't say to clean a makeup brush with it, but I figured I would do it anyway. But it's really hardcore stuff. Where did I put it?
What?
The brush cleaner. It might be over there and all the other chemicals that I keep away from Dexter. Under the table. Like hidden in the secret, yeah. Because it says on there that it will tarnish your handles. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's called Brush Cleaner and Restorer, and it's for dried acrylic and oil color. Not at all what was on this brush, but I figured God had sent it to me. I might as well use it. And it did perfect. I put a little bit in the bottom of a ramekin and then let it soak. And it says you can soak it for up to 24 hours, but I did not do that. It was probably only like 6 hours, and it is not gunky anymore. It is really clean and basically like what it was when I got it. So I'm holding it right in front of the microphone so you guys can hear it. Sometimes I'm not right in the head. But can you guys see? Is this bottom one on? I don't know if we set that up or not because I wasn't planning on using the top down.
I need to make an adjustment. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll get you right here.
Oh, there's my phone and all the chat. But it really did. It restored it pretty much back to when it was brand new. And I still don't know what was on it. Some people suggested that it was the new pixie dust, the pixie spray from Thermoweb. Maybe I didn't wait long enough and it got all on my brush. That is the highest probability.
I agree.
There was something else, and I do have notes.
Well, there was a question about the Dremel.
Yes.
We had a follow-up question about the Dremel on the Dremel demonstration, and the question was about heat. Does it get does the metal get hot? A little. I mean, it depends on how long you really go to town. I mean, the longer you put the machine to the metal, the hotter it's going to get. So it's really hard to answer that question. Yes, you can get it hot. Yes, you can get it hot enough to give you a little blister, a little burn. Lower temperatures, take your time, and just be careful. Give it plenty of time to.
It doesn't remain hot.
It does not remain hot very long.
Yeah, it cools down really quickly. As soon as you take the Dremel away, it starts to cool. Like, I wouldn't just touch it right away.
Right.
Also, Andy Zach, if you're watching, you had made a suggestion either in the chat or in the comments, and I want you to email me for possibly like being a segment with us. So if you could email me my name, corinwiskman@gmail.com, and let me know what you're suggesting. I'm up for things.
You said he could be a segment?
Like a segment on the Craftcast.
Okay.
Is that not a thing?
Sure. It just sounded weird.
Okay.
Maybe it's just me because I'm
like bored. He had made a suggestion and I can't remember exactly what he had said, but it was good. So I made a note to say. But I didn't make enough notes.
It's just turning people into segments. I just think it's funny.
Segments of people. But I think that's pretty much all of the follow-up from last week that people had asked. Anyway, we have Amanda Stevens from Pear Blossom Press and her awesome husband Micah on Skype with us. Can everyone hear Amanda and Micah? That's in the live chat.
There they are.
Hi.
Go back.
She's in the center because she's more important. No, so we moved the camera.
There's me. Oh.
Yeah, I had to fix you. There you go. Now, can everybody hear? Can everybody see? Can everybody do all of the things? Because I'm blown away if we actually can. Hey, where did they go?
Did we lose everyone?
Oh, they just left. We just left.
We got cut off.
What happened?
Did we get cut off?
Okay, well, I can't. Apparently, I can't. Nope.
What happened?
No, they literally on the list of things. They literally have to be the window in front on this other display in order for it to work. I don't know why. Maybe
Whatever.
If anybody out there is a little bit more savvy, tell me why they have to be up front. That'd be lovely. But I'll keep you guys up front.
Okay.
But we're still good on YouTube and everything? Okay, good, because my screen went.
Tell, everything appears to be working.
Yeah, plus I know that the sound is a big issue. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe.
Oh, jeez.
Because I can't buy new microphones. I just took my kids on vacation, and it's just going to be an issue for a minute. But other than that, we can hear and see everybody, so we're good.
And I think it's also one of those things too that we need to actually make some additional modifications to this room. It's not just a function of upgrading microphones. What we've learned, and what's the guy's name? I'm sorry. The fella who, you know what, I will take this opportunity right now, publicly and live, to sit there and apologize and tell you that I have intended to write you back 50 times, and she has asked me to do it 55 times. And 5 of those times I really didn't intend to do it. I was just like, yeah. But for most of the time, I really did want to do it, and I haven't gotten a chance to write you back. But
he's
thank
still
you
in
so
my
much
inbox,
for the
and I don't want to say his
information.
name because he's not. We didn't ask him.
Right. I don't want to do that either. But if you're watching, I apologize for not writing you back. Yes, we are trying some things when we have enough time to do it. We don't have the blankets up today, but we feel like it worked a little bit last time.
Yes, he was a friend that wants to help us sound better, so thank you.
Anybody who has good, helpful information, please do. Please just share it with us. We're just limping along here.
Anyway, Amanda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm sick. I have a cold. I'm sure that's not going to help me. It's not going to shut me down. It's not going to shut me down at all. We're going to have a good time for this hour. But I have a couple questions for you, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and Micah and tell us a little bit about you and Pear Blossom Press.
I should have prepared.
You don't have to do that here.
I started Pear Blossom Press a long time ago as sort of a way to show off my cards and stuff that I make, and I enjoy doing that. But then recently we've sort of introduced a few products just because I kind of found a hole in the market for light up cards. I love Chibitronics, but sometimes they lose people when it comes to making the switch. So we came up with an idea to make a switch, and I showed a few people, including you, at Creation, and we launched it, and people seem to really like it. And then we just started another product, which we just put out, which is our Easy Light, which requires no circuit building because all of the lights are already wired on. So that's fun. But I still, my love and my passion is still making interactive cards. So you'll see light up cards interspersed with all my other stuff because I'm not going to stop doing the other stuff.
That's where your passion is. That's wonderful.
And then luckily Micah here is hardware and software and all around tech genius. So
yeah, it kind of started. She was building this card and using copper tape and these layers of foam and all this stuff, and it was a box card. So when she unfolded, all of it would fall apart. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just use a switch? And so I showed her these little tiny micro switches that I just happen to have, and we made the card work with that, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah.
I mean, let me just tell you that when Micah and I met the first time in Arizona, he was the only other person that I've ever come across casually who just might so happen to have a series of micro switches and things like that lying about that you could just drop one and say, hey, wait a minute, there's a better way to do this. Get my soldering iron. Come here, honey.
Yeah, when we were at Creativation,
this is my shop. I have lots of little drawers full of stuff.
Nonsense to everybody else.
This is the power pack.
Well, it's funny because he
from
tells everybody
Creativation.
He married me because I had a huge selection of tools. Because he would ask, have you ever seen something that could do this or could do that? And I'm like, yeah, look at this. So he's definitely appreciative of the world of craft tools now.
Oh yeah,
she's lots of neat little pliers and stuff.
And vice versa.
We take family outings to Harbor Freight to see what we can find.
The monthly sidewalk sale is that's a good time.
But you slipped this one to me.
Hardware store dates. It's our favorite.
This was the one you gave me at Creativation. Is this generation 1? Is this the first one? The one that you gave me at Creativation? This past year? Or was this your first prototype?
Yeah, that was our prototype.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Those we handmade those.
You handmade this.
Yep.
That's really cool. And then these are the second ones. These are the ones with the switches, with the little purple switches.
Yep.
Okay. And then this is the newest one, which you don't have to use the copper tape. Right?
Right.
So if I pull, I can put this back in there, right? Tim, if I pull this little plastic thing, I can slide it back in there.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you looking at?
Okay, I just want to play with it, but I don't want to use it. I don't want to waste it.
Mastering and shipping, it won't work.
Okay.
Oh.
See? Can everyone see it light up?
Yeah, I've got the down cam on again.
That's it. There's nothing else. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
you don't have to mess with the tape. This is the tape though. You get tape in your kit. In the Pear Blossom Press kit, the one that comes with this.
Hey, stop talking a second.
Sorry.
Put the lights on the blue
On the
paper.
blue?
Yeah,
under the blue paper?
Just right at the blue paper so they can see the contrast. That's all. There you go.
I wonder if we put it under, it'll light up.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably not in this enormous lighted area.
Oh yeah, you kind of. Yeah, look at that.
But I thought this was so cool. When you sent this to me a little while ago, I was like, oh, that's so easy. I don't have to do anything. And that's what I like. That's what I really like. Like, I don't want it to be hard. I know that you love doing interactive cards, and they're so fantastic. I mean, they're so well done, but I don't want to take that much time. I don't know. Maybe I'm just different, and I focused on different details, you know, than the interactivity of a card. But
I don't mind spending a ridiculous amount of time doing it.
Right.
Because I just kind of get into the engineering, and then a whole day has passed and I've made a card and a half. But then some days, you know, you just want something quick and easy. Watercolor, embossing, out the door.
Yeah.
You should see our coffee-fueled engineering drawings for some of the pull tab stuff. We drink coffee in the morning and like scribble. And what about this? And we're folding.
I have.
If I can't figure out how to make a mechanism, I rent his brain for a minute, and
then I can't figure it out either, and we give up.
That's kind of how art,
more complicated.
I mean, we're
Then it
separated
goes to the
by
wayside.
3,000 miles, but we're really the same people. They just cloned us and put us on either side of the continent.
So where did you get the name Pear Blossom Press? Does anyone in the chat have questions? I wanted to make sure that people in the live chat could ask Amanda and Micah questions if they had any. So make sure you put them in the chat. But where did you get the name Pear Blossom Press?
We used to live on Pear Blossom Drive.
Okay.
So, and the URL was available on GoDaddy. So.
Also good.
Yeah, that's her idea. The pear blossoms are cool. Like every spring, right in front of our house, it would look like it was snowing. Well, it's California, so it never snows here, so it was really kind of interesting because the pear blossom trees that were on the.
Yeah, if you've never seen them, they look like cherry blossoms. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
So.
I think they are too.
Use that.
We've moved, but Watkins Press doesn't sound as good. So.
So, what do you have anything on the horizon that you can tell us about? Like what's on the drawing board at Pear Blossom Press? Because I know you, and I know that there's probably other little things out there. Is there anything that you can tell us about?
She wants to know your secret.
Well,
no.
Just launched the Easy Lights, so that's taken up a lot of my time lately. Also, I'm kind of working on a few things with a few different stamp companies, which is fun. We've got something cooking up with Ink Road. A lot of people in the chat I see are also Brutus Monroe fans. Christopher actually beat me to market with
your own product.
with my own product, which was fun. He heard about them and he was like, "I need them now. How soon can I have them?" So very first batch went to him, and before I knew it, because I thought it would take a week to get there, he'd already made like several cards live. so I was like, I gotta get mine out there, which is fun. And then we're working on a collaboration with Karen Burniston, so people who like the pop-ups. She's got some amazing dies, and with these lights, you don't have to. You can just tape them in place, so it doesn't matter what layer they're on. You know, like on a box card, you could just, put it in the different levels. And so her dies have lots of levels, and so that's fun and exciting. And that's in October. And then, I don't know, we've got like 100 other product ideas. It's just a matter of coming up with, research and can we actually make it? And will people actually want it? And then in the meantime, I'll be making a bunch of other cards too. So
I don't ever think about things like, is this useful to anyone else? Maybe I'm a selfish creator, but when I think of things to make, I think of how to make my life easier. And then I'll tell you how to, do it, but really it's not ever for like other people's use. So I come up with these harebrained things that I do. And other people look in this room and they're like, where did you come up with this? Or what inspired you to create this? And it's usually, I get frustrated in some way and I need to find a way to help me succeed at something. And I put two things together that are absolutely different. and you wouldn't typically think of that. Like the syringes, like, I don't know, maybe that's not as crazy, but I was trying to find a way to make my life easier, not sell it to anyone else. But I'm happy to like show other people. But when I started putting adhesive into the syringes, there was no thought of other people. It was like, this is useful to me. I'm going to do this. So what inspires you to create to help other people? You know, because I kind of do things the hard way sometimes because I think it's the easiest way and it's not.
I don't know. I like to share things. So if I come up with a trick or if I see another tip or trick that I like, I'll share it with other people that are struggling too or that potentially have the same issue. So I've always kind of tried to do that.
Is that kind of that's definitely what made you create these power packs, because you saw people struggling with the tape and the lights and the batteries and the switches, and you found a way to make it easier for other people? Were you thinking, I need to do this easier for myself? Because that's how I would have thought.
Well, I've made a few of them without the power packs. But I don't know. I thought it would be helpful for people, because when I would show the cards, people would tell me, "Oh, I have those kits, but I never did anything with them. It looks easy until I go ahead and try to do it myself." And then, so I thought, well, I mean, I know people get lost when it comes to the Switch, even though honestly the Switch isn't that hard. But I myself had to watch a couple videos like 2 or 3 times just to wrap my brain around it. And then I thought it would just be easier for people to have a little gizmo that takes the work out of it for them.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him about it, and he says, well, let's make some and put them out there, see if people like them. So.
Right.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing. There was
I know.
Right. Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So, did you guys see it? Well, you're over here.
Never mind.
Did you guys see it?
Pop up or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that like popped up over here, like behind me, it was your face again, Micah.
It's like someone else calling in.
I'm hacking your Mac.
It's hers. I don't care.
You're not going to find much. There's a lot of card photos and videos, just so you know. Are there questions in the chat?
Yeah, I've been cutting them and putting them over here on the sticky. It should be on your screen, although I don't know if you can read it. Jenny asked if there was a tutorial on the website, and it looks like some of this has been answered. But for those who might not be following the chat or watching this while they're driving, they're asking if there's a tutorial.
Oh, I like that question. Belinda Waters asked, "Can you color the bulbs?"
There's the tutorials for the first power pack.
Yeah.
And you're working on for the new one, right?
Yeah, I haven't put up videos for the new one, but it's literally just tape it down, guys. The lights are already wired, so you can just put a piece of Scotch tape to hold them where you want them. And for the battery pack, it's a little heavier, so I would actually use like double stick tape or glue to hold it down, and then cover it all up. It's simple.
Show them.
I can show you. This is the first card that I made.
I love that card.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Can you see? Oh yeah, there it goes. I love it.
Oh yeah, there's a delay. So I kind of built this one so that I could show you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really just.
That's all it is.
They're just taped down, and the wires are a little long, so you can curl them up, tape them down, and then there's a little purple switch.
They're actually a little longer than we intended. We ordered a certain length and got them longer, but better than being too short, I suppose.
And like, if you're gonna do a box card or something like that, imagine how hard it would be to run the wires on it.
Mm-hmm.
If you were running copper tape. So just using this little guy, you can just stick them down underneath on the different levels and put your battery at the back, and you're done. So, So
right now you can go to the Brutus Monroe video feed, right, and see him working on some. He built some from scratch.
He built
so
some
if you want to
using
see the process, I know you're gonna.
I'll have some up soon. But and if you're wondering about the original, the Power Pack, there's tons of videos. I've got them on YouTube and on the website too. So, and there's like tips and troubleshooting kind of stuff. And then also just send me a picture if you get stuck, and I can usually troubleshoot. And if I can't,
she's always online. Doesn't matter day.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's true.
I regularly have commented to Corey about, like, man, when does she sleep? Because I'm a notorious non-sleeper, and I'm pretty sure Amanda sleeps less than I do. I mean, when it catches when I notice, like, when it's something where I'm like, wow, she is like really, yeah.
But you never sleep.
No, well, she doesn't either.
Like, it's very rare that I'm awake and you're
Cat naps
asleep.
Yeah, they just happen between like midnight and 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Belinda Waters asked if you could color the bulbs with alcohol markers.
Yes, some colors work better than others. So honestly, it's easier if you just use some vellum and color your vellum. You'll get a better result. If you some colors just work better than others, and you can always try it. And if you don't like it, wipe it off with some alcohol. It's not going to hurt the light.
Right.
So give it a shot, and if that doesn't work the way you want it to, like I said, color some vellum and pop that in front of it.
Yeah, and that's really easy. Vellum can color really easily with alcohol markers, so it can be any color in the spectrum you want.
We're thinking about doing some UV lights. So doing just a kind of a short run, and then you can use it to do like underwater scenes and stuff like that.
Oh, that'd be really wild.
You can do with just colored vellum.
Well, they would react differently with the ink, with the different colors of the ink. That would really be really neat. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some that are fluorescent inks.
Yeah, I just ordered the Brutus Monroe, the neon aqua pigments, because they're reactive to UV light, so I want to play with those.
So the UV light, that's like a black light, right? UV light, that's a black light.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure it's the same thing.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes. Okay. Yeah, it's the same thing.
All right.
All right. So did we make it through the questions?
I don't know. I can't. What's the middle one that you put up there?
Well, I guess it was already answered. She held up. She held up her sample that she has with her.
Okay.
So that is.
And we're probably about the time where we could move on to the discussion topic today.
Right. So.
And I mean, of course, Amanda and Micah is here to discuss with us.
I don't plan on dropping them unless
they want to.
I mean,
what do you guys want to do?
Yeah, we'll hang out.
Don't feel obligated by any. Looks like the weather's fantastic there.
Yeah.
By the way.
Sherry. So Sherry Nansen, and maybe because I'm not a company and I don't do stamp releases, but last week. Before our vacation, so like I have to get through all of these pictures. Do you have it, hun, ready to put up on the screen?
What? Yeah, hang on a second. This? Hang on.
Yeah, her little question about stamp releases. She doesn't understand. It says ARG, and I don't know who Julie Schuler is, if I'm saying that correct. But she asked a question. If the same question, why do all of the companies come out with the exact same themes, either the same month or a month apart? Would have been a great topic to cover. And I think I kind of know what she's saying. Like they're all the kind of the same general stamp sets, but I think that that's just what is inspiring or what's popular right now, and that's why people create it. I don't know. That's my kind of ignorant opinion about I've never had a stamp release, but I don't think they're sharing ideas. If that's I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Yeah. Why do you think stamp companies kind of all have the same general themes when it comes to that? Maybe they're not looking at the right stamp companies, because the Ink Road definitely has different things than I've ever seen before, and Kindred Stamps with the pop culture and kind of even things that were popular back in the day that are kind of getting revitalized. I think there's tons of different stamps out there, different companies, depends on what you like. I don't know. What someone else talk other than me.
Well, part of it's seasonal, right?
Yeah.
What did Micah say?
He said part of it is seasonal, right? I mean, to some degree.
Yeah, like in the summer, you're going to get sea life. You're going to get those summer themed. You're going to get ice creams and snow cones and stuff like that. Sometimes it's technique driven, I think. If there's a popular technique, then some stamps are going to come out to kind of reinforce that technique or make it more popular or entice you to buy their products. So, yeah, seasonal. What do you think, Tim?
Oh, so hang on a second.
Are you reading the comments?
I missed Tiffany's question. I would never intentionally skip a Tiffany question. She says, hang on, let me.
Or a comment if they have one.
Well, I don't intentionally skip anybody. There's a lot going on here. She says, I have a question. How do you, Amanda, and Corin get your husbands so involved with your crafting? Micah, well, I'm going to pull you back up here. And...
Well, because I like her a lot, and if I'm not involved with the crafting, I don't get to see her very often. So she goes and hides in her craft room.
That's right. I mean, there's a huge part of that that's not untrue, but the other side of it too is I don't really agree that I'm so involved in her crafting.
Yeah,
I'm involved in her production of this because it's not something that can possibly be done by a single person.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, they do it. People do it, but not this elaborate.
Look,
yeah.
You'd look like a spider monkey trying to,
I look like a spider monkey right now.
More so. Trying to get all these things done. It's just too much. So I help with the production, but I don't really feel like I'm involved with her crafting at all. I built you a room because I can build things, right? That's my craft.
You're involved
as
that's
in... kind of actually similar to me because I got involved with the product and I was able to contribute, what I do. I do electronic engineering and I'm all, hey, what was easy for me would be hard for her, and all the stuff that's really hard for me, she can do easily. So it kind of works out as a team for some stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even hang out with the crayon. Quite simply put, I failed a color rendering class in architecture school. That's 100% the truth, and it really is exactly what it sounds like. A color rendering class. It is for architects who are designing, trying to come up with new looks. I literally failed a coloring class.
I had he hand me down his pro markers from that class.
I absolutely did.
Those were my first alcohol markers ever, I think. They're alcohol, right? I believe they are. Pro markers.
No, they weren't pro markers, were they?
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were.
Right, and they were all like greens and
like
beiges
prismas?
because it was an architecture class.
That's right. Yeah, right.
But he's involved as far as I have a harebrained scheme that I can't pull off myself, so I need his help. And none of my friends want to do it with me.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
She'll be telling me about something she's working on, and I drink too much coffee, and we end up talking about it because it's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, we do the same thing. We sit around at night and
we enjoy spending time together.
Yep, we'll sit around. We'll be sitting there playing Tetris or something, and then she'll sit there and say, you know what, I think I want to do this thing called Craftcast, and it's like, oh yeah. What's that going to be, huh? Oh yeah? Hold on. Sure. What? Are you serious?
And I just need you to do all the work. Do all the work, and I'll just show up for it. Yeah. Thanks.
That's good.
That's kind of how this went down. But there's so many different projects that do come up that, I mean, you're involved in, but it's just because either I'm doing something new and I want your support, or I just don't want to do it by myself. That's how you get involved. You're my best friend.
Some of these things. Oh, that's sappy.
It's really cheesy.
Sappy's okay.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways too, I think it makes me do things that I wouldn't otherwise do. I mean, quite simply put, if she didn't have things like this, right, I would never stop working.
Yeah.
That is my curse.
I
idle hands are the devil's workshop. I don't stand still ever. If I have breath and life, I'm working, you know. So this creates a time that makes me stop. It makes me come home. It makes me be here. It makes me be present. It makes us engage with each other throughout the week, because this doesn't happen. There's a board over there that I can't really show you guys, but there's a board over there it's 6.5 feet long and it's 3 feet wide, and it's top to bottom 2/3 of the way filled with notes for this broadcast.
I told you I made
don't
notes.
Just fall in, you know what I mean? So we have this dialogue throughout the week, and notes get created, and things get added, and things get excised, and you know, this is how it comes together. So it forces us, I think, in a lot of ways, kind of like what you were saying earlier, it forces us to spend some more time with each other.
You don't have to. I mean, certainly.
Yeah, we've set up, although the past few weeks have been a little bit off, but we've set up Monday mornings at 9 o'clock. We're going to do an hour of just kind of
see where we're at, see where we're going.
As far as Pear Blossom stuff.
Now that we have the product, there's, you know, boring money stuff to talk about sometimes and production things, but
where do you see
usually
yourself
we end up
going?
just talking about what we want to do.
All new product ideas, and let's do this, and how can you use his 3D printer, and
Yeah, I'm still trying to make my 3D printer pay for itself.
What do you want Pear Blossom Press to be?
No, it doesn't work.
but
What do you see Pear Blossom Press being?
a lot of people have
Can she hear me, or am I
evenings
talking
where
over her?
they come together and they'll watch TV and they'll, you know, have their time. We both tend to work late. I mean, it's no
All night long.
Yeah, it's not a surprise if one of us is working until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But in the morning, we get up, we take the kids. I take the kids to school now that they're back in school, and then we'll have coffee, and that's kind of our time. And for us, both of us are creative, so this is fun for us. We're not usually sitting in front of the TV together. We are talking, bouncing ideas off of each other and that kind of stuff. So
Like you were saying, like, we're always working on something, and it's nice to have something to work on together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of fun, you know, to like see what you can make. What do you see Pear Blossom Press becoming in the future? Anything
A
more?
multinational oil company.
Micah Burton.
Small steps, though. We'll get there eventually. Maybe 10 years.
Or a whole bunch of fun cards and a few products along the way that help you out.
I feel like we're all just a little bit pinky in the brain,
And-
trying to take over the
Trying to take over the world. But
No, it's kind of leading us. She didn't actually tell the whole story. We started Pear Blossom Press 4 or 5 years ago with the idea of doing monthly kits. And so she would like set up, put all the pieces together and maybe some tool or something and send it out, and it would be a card kit. And it was right when the internet was starting to introduce like a lot of kits. They have the kits for kids and different, you have
I have purchased
the
those.
Shave Club for men, all that stuff. And obviously I don't use it. And it just completely fell flat on its face for a lot of reasons. Like nobody bought it. Nobody was even interested. And this was before she got involved with, she's made a lot of friends along the way, like you guys and some other people. And she wasn't really in contact with a lot of people online yet. And I don't know, there's a lot of reasons why it failed. But then we're like, well, how do we fix this? You know, and just that adventure of trying to understand what didn't work then and where it evolved into, and the power packs were kind of just fell in our lap. It was like a weird idea that we had that happened to work out, but
That's how they all do.
because we had formed Pear Blossom to do that first project, it kind of gave us a theme to go through, and she started publishing stuff on YouTube, and we put the website together and blog posts, and went to Creativation and met you guys, and
Ta-da!
Yeah. The rest is-
And I would just like to say that Tim loves the older ladies that hit on him in the comment section.
Oh yeah. That's
Okay?
fun.
That's why he participates. That's
lot of fun.
that's why he started moseying in on my videos in the beginning.
No.
Yes. Yes, it is.
No.
Just so you could get those ladies that were like, "Oh, hi, Tim. Hi, Tim."
I'm not quite that shallow. But it is not. I mean, I'd be lying to say that it's not fun. Come on. I have a blast. I'm a flirtatious person.
I know.
So
that's how you truly got involved.
I am what
That
I
was
am.
the beginning. Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. A couple of questions that are coming in. Actually, Belinda's got a couple of them. They're asking if you guys are going to be making any kits with, or any light kits with shorter wires. And then in the same vein, do you intend to develop a kit that has more lights that they could use as like, stars or Christmas trees or things like that, or an expansion, maybe even an expansion module where you could have a 3-pin or something like that, or a 2-pin that comes in and slides into the switch? Sorry, I don't mean to.
That's highly technical and over my head.
I didn't mean that, but, it was just a question.
So, shorter wires, yes. In our first prototypes, they're 30 millimeters, centimeters, millimeters.
Millimeters, I hope. Centimeters would be long.
And I wanted them 20. But we had them made, and then they didn't come to us. They shipped straight to the board house.
Mm-hmm.
And the board house said that they got them and they were fine. And then they assembled them, and then they sent them to us, and they were
Really long.
But they were already done, and it was another 6 to 8 week lead time. So I decided to just go ahead and go with those, because otherwise it means getting all new lights, getting them sent to us, me unsoldering and then resoldering times 1,000, pieces.
But you don't need them that long for cards, but we were thinking that scrapbookers might have some use, and then they need to be a little bit longer for scrapbookers.
Right.
But they are they're a little too long.
Yeah, so next run, I'll order them 20, and I'll verify that they're actually 20 before they're assembled. So that'll be about a third shorter, in the 7-inch range. That'll still give you extra so that you have plenty of room. Like for box cards, for something like this, you need a little bit of extra room. If you just had, if you just had like a little 2-inch wire, it would be too short. So there will still be extra. And if you are making a scrapbook page and you want to spread it out, you can totally do that. As far as kits that have more lights in them, our power packs are still there, and you can hook up quite a few lights with one power pack. And the Chibitronics, you can put them wherever you want. Chibitronics come in a bunch of different colors.
They have flashing ones.
Yeah, they have a flasher that I haven't played with yet, but it's like got 4 pre-programmed settings, and it's super neat. It's on my list.
One of the things we run into with this is the more lights you have, it takes more power to run more lights. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, we could probably do like 4 or 5, but at a certain point, the small battery that we're using won't run it. So then we have to put a bigger battery or multiple batteries, and that makes it bigger and thicker. And, it's a card, so you can only get so thick. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there, but we've been talking about that.
Yeah, and we've also talked about different switch ideas, the slider switch. But those, to get them flat, they're expensive. Just the components are expensive, which then by the time you add from wholesale to retail, it just becomes,
it seems expensive, but we're also talking to a crowd of people that spend like 4 days making one card, so.
Okay. But I don't know. For me, I don't have a problem buying a stamp set with a matching die set and spending like 40, 50, 60, sometimes more dollars on that set.
I have a problem.
But in your head, you can use it 20 times at least, even though I only use it once. But it seems like you can keep using it. For stuff like this, it's kind of one and done, so we have to keep the cost realistic for most people.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a stamp set that I've used multiple times. It was one of my first stamp sets ever from Stampin' Up, and it's a wood-mounted stamp set called Loads of Love. I still have it. Yeah, the little truck and then you have like accessories in the back. There have been tons of other stamp sets just like it, but this one has my heart. It's still wood mounted. It's still in the original case and everything. But there are a few sets that I keep in my collection that I'll never part with because they have an emotional, the stamp set that I made my kids, Hayden's birth announcement that we found at my mom's last month.
Yep.
I wish I still had that stamp set. Like, I got rid of that. And now I'm like bummed about it. You know, like, I should have kept that. So now I'm like particular about what stays in my stash. Like, there are things that come and go, but there is a stash. A curated, like, stash, I guess I would say.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most crafters are also collectors.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's an interesting undertone happening in the chat right now.
Oh.
And it's about how many crafty people have engineers and highly technical, nerds.
Husbands.
We are husbands. And it seems like of the commenters, an overwhelming majority. And it's
maybe it's an opposites attract.
It's the balance between the creative and the logic. And I'd never even considered it before this observation came from the chat. It's kind of just neat. I just wanted to mention it. It is kind of
funny.
I've known a lot of engineers in my career, and the good ones are always crafty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a
form of creative outlet, right?
Oh yeah.
It's what they're making.
It's two aspects of a kind of a similar thing, I think.
If I get a chance, I'll go take a picture of a light that Tim made. It's out in the shed in his office that's not done yet. Like, he has a creative side.
Look.
All right. I absolutely believe it.
So this was 100% me being cheap and 100% my being, I just so happened to have had like 10 pieces of conduit that already had light fixtures attached to the end of it.
Can you imagine the light and what it looks like?
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever watched Corn make a card?
So I just so happened to have had these things, and I was getting ready to start the renovation down here, and I grabbed my work light, the work light with the halogen bulbs in it, You got 1,000 watt and a 500 watt. Just like every other time I've ever tried to plug it in, I plugged it in and all 4 bulbs blow. Okay, so I'm down here working with no lights, right? And so I grabbed these 10 pieces of EMT conduit that had light fixtures mounted to the end of it, and I ran them together in series, and I put a pigtail on it, and I made this. I was demoing walls down here, so I took some of the scrap 2x4s that I had, and I zipped them up, and I made this frame, if you wanted to call it, to support this thing. And
it looks like
a fire hazard.
Your kindergartner comes home with his art project, and he's so proud of it. Look at what I made. It is ugly. It is so ugly and scary, but he's been using it ever since.
It works. I mean, now it's just like, and it's heavy. I mean, the thing weighs like 70 pounds. It's ridiculous.
I'll take a picture and tag you guys on Instagram. It's ugly. But he made it with his 2 hands.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not uncomfortable at all about my light. I have done a lot of really, really hokey stuff. I've had a ratchet handle driven through pieces of linkage in vehicles, and I didn't forget. I knew it was jammed in there. I mean, that was literally what was connecting a drive shaft at one point, and I just let it go for about 300 miles until I threw it again. There's no shortage of crazy things that I have done, and more than likely will continue to do. But so much so, let me tell you how impactful that was. All right, she asked me to build her a light. She asked me to make her a light.
Was that this one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then has since asked me to manipulate it, produce more of them.
Yes.
And so
maybe I'll take 2 pictures.
Yeah.
The first light, and then the upgrade.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
the one that I had help in designing.
Wow. Look, you design it, I can build. That's great.
That's kind of what happens. That's our relationship.
Yeah.
I tell him my crazy idea, and then he tells me if it can actually happen or not.
Yeah.
Most of the time, he's like, no, Nope.
Yeah, you guys don't. I'm the best filter because you guys don't even see the real crazy stuff. So, I mean,
everyone's mind is blown right now because I have a filter and I still behave this way.
It's another person. That's all.
Wait, she has a filter?
Of course, Jeff Korn has good lighting. I make sure that she's well lit. Yeah. She always looks fantastic.
You don't turn on he doesn't turn on his lights because he hates them. No. So.
I'm happy to be the troll. Keep me in the basement. Keep me in the dark.
Any further questions from the Peanut Gallery?
I don't think I pulled anything else out. There was, Roberta did say something about maybe putting together a lighting kit. I wasn't sure if you guys had seen that or...
Maybe revisit your roots and come with a new Pear Blossom Press stamp.
We're working on that. Amanda's been collaborating with at least 2 stamp companies, I know. Mm-hmm. So, look, yeah, there's
stuff on the horizon, stuff to look forward to. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, there's a couple out, and then our original kit is paired up with a set from Kindred Stamps, which is on their site. It's a camping set that's super fun, and I actually just made a card with that the other day, and so that'll come up next week. And yeah, I've got a couple other things, and then I'm going to be teaching at a retreat in Georgia, so that'll be fun. But as far as adding to the original kit with more lights, we sell everything individually and in bulk. So if you wanted bulk, you could just grab the bulk. It'll be cheaper than us putting it into a kit.
I think she's talking about like a ready to go themed kit, with the stamp and everything.
Oh
yeah. She was talking like a card kit.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of those in the works too.
Jess says she.
Also, kind of explain. We've learned a lot through this process, as you do, and it seems like we can make custom shapes pretty easily. So we're kind of exploring making. Somebody mentioned a Christmas tree earlier, and we were talking about exactly that. That's come up a couple times, and that requires a lot of lights.
Yeah.
And rather than selling like a kit with a bunch of wires on it for 1 million lights, something that we can just, you can kind of just underlay in your card.
Oh, yeah.
It's all done for you.
You just punch a hole through, you stamp the image, and then punch a hole where the lights are, and then put the board behind it, and it already has the lights in place.
So those will be kind of short run things, and we'll let everybody know and maybe do pre-orders or something so we know how many there are.
That sounds fantastic. Jess is in the chat saying that she can't wait for our December trip, our girls trip.
Me too.
For everyone, we're going to Kathy Rakusin's coloring challenge road trip in Florida at MFT. Some of us are, and then some of us are just coming on the trip. But so a few of us crafters are getting together, and we're going to do a meetup, hopefully, at Disney Springs on the 7th.
Yeah.
Y'all can talk about it in the chat if that's wrong. But I think it's Saturday the 7th, around brunch time, I think is what we were talking about. But nothing's really set in stone yet. But I can't wait for that. I am so excited to, A, see you again, and to be on that trip. I think it's going to be great.
I agree. I'm excited.
We did get a question earlier, and I thought I had made a copy of it, but I must have deleted it. But she just asked again, so I want to make sure that I ask. How long do the power packs last? Is there a lifetime or a cycle time? How many depressions, so to speak?
A long time.
Yeah,
if you do the math, they'll run a single light for about 3 hours straight. So, you can imagine that's quite. It'll get dimmer over time, but when you're actually using it, you're just flashing. You hold it down for a few seconds or something, and so it should last quite a long time. But it's kind of a hard question to answer.
The more lights you have on, the more power it draws each time as well. So it's kind of, it fluctuates.
It's been our experience that they last as long as people have interest in the card.
Right.
And our cards are pretty interesting. I've got one from a birthday card that she made me 2 years ago, and it still lights up. And I was showing it to people and taking videos of it. And
right. I can't think of, even
you can't
with...
say indefinitely. Of course, it wears out at some point. But you can replace the batteries. But usually when you make the card, it's all glued in there. So it's kind of hard to get to. But
I had one lady who made a scrapbook page, and obviously that you want to keep forever. And so she kind of made a little flap in the back so that she could just swap out the batteries, which is super handy, especially with these new ones. You don't have to worry about flipping the wires. I mean, you can flip the wires around easy. You don't have to worry about running copper tape up and down walls. So if you want to switch the battery out, just make sure you leave a flap.
And I'm not sure if I have any really old light up cards, but even with the Chibitronics stuff that I've used, they've lit up until I've given them away, which can be a long time because I make cards, but I fail to give them away. So, but I can't think of a card that like stopped working on me, honestly. So I think it's a pretty efficient use of power. You're lighting such a small thing, so I don't know. It works. Like Micah said, it lasts.
Really efficient. So,
it lasts until you're done.
Yeah, you're more likely to have a copper tape like circuit issue before you have a battery run out.
Right.
So.
Well, I think unless anyone else has any other questions, we've been on for an hour.
Oh.
Goes by fast.
Yeah, it really.
Question back. Lady Fair was asking about Halloween stamps.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one?
No.
It looked like there were a whole bunch of people that were doing a really excellent job of answering that question. There were. I mean, I could be wrong, but there was a lot of Halloween stamp suggestions that had come across through the.
Oh, you're paying attention more than me.
I'm trying to, man. Like it's.
It's sometimes 80 people or 83 people.
Oh, okay.
Wow, they've stuck with us this long. Wow, that's wow.
I'm glad I put on mascara.
Gluttons for punishment.
I did not.
I'm all yours.
I did not put on mascara. So I have felt terrible most of today, but honestly, this past hour has been really easy. So I guess it's because I really enjoy being here and talking to everyone and being, having crafty chat. Is it still crafty? It's still crafty chat. We talk about a lot of stuff.
We cover a lot of bases, but most of all, we just kind of come in and talk at you for an hour or so.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's all fun.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for having us.
Well, thank you for being our guinea pigs. Hopefully,
We don't mind.
next week we're having some other interviewees. Hopefully, not next week, but the 22nd of September. I'm hoping to have Mary Polenko and Courtney Kreber and Jen from Scrapina Creations to talk about their new website. And I'm always saying it wrong. I wrote it down. Where did I write it down?
It's on the wall. The Collective Creators.
The Collective Creators.
Correct.
And for a long time, I was telling everybody about the Creatives Collective, which is not right.
So forget you said that.
Huh?
So forget you said that.
Yeah, so it's the Collective Creators, and hopefully we'll talk to them on the 22nd, and it'll be a little more smooth. Maybe.
Hopefully it continues to improve a little better.
Yeah. But thanks, guys, for coming and hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time, the 22nd.
Yeah, Amanda, Micah, it was good to see you guys.
Thank you.
See you soon.